Welcome to Void Realities. If you're awake when the world sleeps, you've found the right place. Here, the lines between dreams and reality blur, and you can drift away into a world that feels like it's just for you. No rush, no pressure. Just a space for you to unwind, let go of the noise, and find calm in the quiet of the night. Whether you're seeking peace, wonder, or something to help guide you into sleep, Void Realities is your escape. Sit back, relax, and let your mind wander to the edge of the unknown. Welcome to the void. Why clocks tick differently in motion? The clock that breathes with you. You notice how every second feels different when you slow your breath. Time is not only measured by machines, but also by your body's rhythm. Each heartbeat is a whisper, each breath a tide of passing moments. Already you sense that time is softer than you once thought. You lie still, your body quiet, your thoughts drifting like clouds at dusk. The room around you is dim, the air calm, and the world feels far away. In this moment, time itself seems to lean closer, as if waiting for you to listen. You take a breath, slow, unhurried, and you feel how it stretches like the gentle unfolding of a wave against the shore. Your chest rises, a pause, your chest falls, a pause again. With every inhale, with every exhale, you sense a rhythm, steady, but never mechanical. This is not the ticking of a clock on the wall. It is not the measured beat of a machine. This is your body's own timekeeper. Breath, heartbeat, the slow river of blood flowing through you. You notice your heart. It does not tick like a clock. It whispers. Sometimes it races when you are frightened or slows when you are calm. Sometimes it beats irregularly, as if it has its own mood, its own way of interpreting the day. And in this you discover the first truth. Time is not fixed, not steady, not universal. Even within you, seconds feel longer or shorter depending on how you live them. Close your eyes. Think of a moment of fear you once felt, a close call, a sudden sound. In that instant, didn't time stretch? The seconds seemed to expand, becoming wider, thicker, as if the world slowed so you could take it in. And then in joy, in laughter, in music, in the company of someone you love, the opposite. Hours disappeared like a breath, leaving you wondering where they went. So here, at the very beginning, you see that time is not only what the clock insists it is. Time is what you feel, what your mind whispers, what your body keeps hidden in its own rhythms. The ticking of a wall clock is steady, impartial, unchanging. It does not care if you are frightened or delighted. But your body's clocks, the rhythm of breath, the pace of a heartbeat, they care. They move with you, bend with your feelings, respond to your quiet states. And that is why, right now, as you rest in bed, time feels different. It does not march forward, it drifts like a feather in still air. Imagine your breath as a pendulum. Not the swinging of heavy metal in an old grandfather clock, but the swaying of something softer, more fluid. Inhale, the pendulum swings one way. Exhale, the pendulum swings back. Each motion marks not a second, but a sensation. You begin to realize that your own body holds its own definition of time. Scientists call this perception of time the inner clock of the brain and body. It does not measure seconds the way an atomic clock does. Instead, it relies on rhythms, your heartbeat, your breathing, the cycles of your cells. Every organ, every neuron pulses with a rhythm. Together they form an orchestra, and you are both the instrument and the listener. Now, think of the way animals live in their own time scales. A hummingbird's heart beats more than 1,000 times a minute, and for it, the world must seem fast, almost frantic. A giant tortoise, by contrast, carries a slow and steady rhythm, its world unfolding in patient stretches of hours and days. And here you are, somewhere in between, human time ticking not only in clocks and calendars, but in the fragile symphony of your body. Your body carries circadian rhythms too, a natural 24-hour cycle of sleep and wakefulness, light and darkness. Inside your brain, a cluster of cells near the eyes, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, keeps track of day and night, adjusting hormones, body temperature, and energy. This is yet another clock within you, softer than numbers, quieter than machinery. It is the rhythm of dawn and dusk, of waking and resting, of being alert and being at peace. And yet, as you lie here, you realize that even this clock is not absolute. Travel across the globe, and your circadian rhythm falters. Stay awake through the night, and it bends, adjusting slowly, reluctantly. Inside, you carry the flexibility of time, just as outside, the universe carries it too. You may have thought time was simple, seconds, minutes, hours, each one the same length. But already in your own body you see that it is not. Your experience of time stretches and contracts, quickens and slows, depending on how you breathe, how you feel, how you live. This is your first step into the mystery of dilation, the bending of time itself. You breathe again, and with each breath you feel the minutes soften, dissolving into something less rigid. Time becomes more like water than stone. It flows around you, carrying you forward. But it can also ripple, linger, pool in unexpected ways. You let yourself drift in this current. No hurry, no demand. Just the quiet rhythm of seconds that belong only to you. If your body can stretch time, what about the universe itself? If your breath can lengthen a moment, what happens when motion and gravity join the dance? This is where science will guide you next. Einstein once said that time is relative, and already you feel what he meant. Time does not beat the same for everyone. It bends to the rhythms of speed, of mass, of motion. Just as your heart races or slows, the universe has its own shifting tempos. For now you rest in this first understanding that clocks do not own time, that time is not a ruler, but a rhythm. That in your body, in your mind, in your breath, seconds are not all equal. Each one carries a weight, a softness, a different hue. And this truth, that time lives within you as much as outside of you, is where the journey begins. As you drift towards sleep, you feel the edges of the mystery expanding. If breath and heartbeat can bend time for you, then what about mountains, oceans, or stars? What about the pull of Earth's gravity or the speed of light across space? What happens to clocks in those realms when the universe itself begins to stretch its seconds? The answers wait ahead like distant stars, soft but insistent. And tonight you will follow them. You close your eyes, you listen to your breath, the pendulum swings, and time whispers that it is ready to show you more. Gravity's invisible hand on time. You stand on Earth, pulled gently downward by gravity's embrace, yet the same pull bends the fabric of time itself, stretching seconds. On a mountain, clocks race ahead. In the valley, they slow. You begin to see how space and time dance together. You stand beneath the open sky, feet resting on the ground, your body quietly anchored by Earth's invisible pull. You cannot see gravity, you cannot hold it or smell it or taste it, but you feel it in your weight, in your step, in the way you never drift away from the surface. Gravity is the gentle hand that holds you here, keeping your body pressed softly to the world. Close your eyes and imagine this invisible embrace. It is constant, always present, always guiding, always reminding you that you belong to the earth. Yet there is something hidden in this familiar force, something more subtle than weight, more profound than falling. Gravity does not only pull on matter, on stones, oceans, and bodies, it pulls on time itself. You may think of time as untouchable, immune to the sway of forces. Seconds, after all, are meant to be steady, regular, ticking on no matter where you stand. But Einstein revealed that this is not so. Gravity bends the fabric of space and time together, stretching not only distances but also the flow of seconds. Imagine two clocks. One rests in a valley where gravity is strong, holding tightly to the ground. The other stands on a mountain peak closer to the sky, where Earth's pull is slightly weaker. To your eyes, both clocks tick steadily. But in truth, the clock in the valley is running just a little slower than the one on the mountain. The difference is tiny, almost impossible to sense without instruments, yet it is real as the ground beneath your feet. Now breathe slowly. Feel your own heartbeat, that steady whisper inside your chest. It too is a clock, a measure of passing moments, and here is the wonder. If you could live your life at sea level while your twin lived on a mountaintop, you would age just a little slower than they do. You would share the same sunrises, the same moons, the same seasons. But your seconds would not be identical. Gravity would have bent your time. The deeper you are in gravity's embrace, the slower your seconds pass. This is not a trick of perception, not only a matter of how you feel. It is a physical truth, woven into the fabric of the universe. Time itself runs differently in different places. Think of the Earth as more than rock and ocean. Think of it as a mass that bends the space around it, the way a heavy ball bends the surface of a soft blanket. Space curves, dips, and folds around this weight. And where space bends, time bends too. For space and time are not separate threads, but one cloth, stitched together, moving together, breathing together. Astronauts have tested this truth. Clocks flown on satellites run faster than those on Earth, because high above the surface, gravity's hand is weaker. Clocks flown on airplanes return with measurable differences, tiny but undeniable. The universe whispers its consistency. Gravity touches time, always. Picture yourself sitting at the bottom of a deep well. Above you the sun shines, its light pouring down. But as you climb upward, the light shifts, stretching into red, its frequency slowed by gravity. Light, like time, bends under this invisible hand. It is as though the universe itself must pay a toll to climb out of gravity's embrace. This is why black holes are so mysterious, so silent, so consuming. Their gravity is so strong that time itself slows nearly to stillness at their edge. But that story waits for later. For now, stay with the Earth, gentle and familiar, yet filled with hidden truths. Think again of mountains and seas. At the mountaintop, time runs quicker, seconds flowing lightly as the air itself. At the bottom of the sea, or deep inside a valley, time slows, its steps heavier, quieter. If you lived always in one place, you might never notice. But science, with its careful instruments and patient experiments, has seen it clearly. Time bends with gravity's hand. This truth changes the way we see the cosmos. It means there is no single universal clock, no master rhythm that all things follow. Instead, every place, every height, every mass carries its own tempo. The universe is not a marching band of identical beats, but a symphony of shifting rhythms, gravity conducting the score. Pause now. Take a breath. Notice how your chest rises against gravity and falls again with its embrace. Every breath you take is shaped by this invisible pull. Every moment of your life is held in this field of force. And now you know, gravity shapes not only your body but also your time. The thought is soft but unsettling. If seconds are different on the mountain and in the valley, then what of the stars, the planets, the galaxies? If gravity bends time here, it bends time everywhere. And that means the universe is filled with countless clocks, none of them the same, all of them whispering different rhythms. Einstein once said that time and space are like a fabric. You cannot pull one thread without tugging on the other. Gravity is the weight that presses into this cloth, and time flows differently where the fabric dips and folds. What you thought was steady is in truth alive, pliable, soft. You may wonder, why don't we feel these differences each day? Because the variations are small on Earth, subtle as a whisper. Only with precise clocks, atomic clocks measuring the beat of atoms themselves, can we see the truth unfold. And yet, the principle holds. Even here, even now, gravity stretches your seconds. Drift with this idea. Let it settle in you like a stone sinking into water. Your time is not the same as time on the mountain. Your life is not unfolding at exactly the same pace as someone above or below you. The earth itself is a sculptor of time, shaping it moment by moment with its silent pull. As you rest, you feel a new softness in the concept of time. It is not a rigid ruler. It is a fabric, pliant and tender, curving under invisible weight. And you, lying quietly in gravity's embrace, are part of this vast and gentle design. Ahead, the mystery deepens. If gravity can bend your seconds, what of speed? What happens when you move quickly, when you chase light itself? Can motion, like gravity, stretch your minutes, twist your hours, change the pace of your days? The answer awaits in the thoughts of a young man who once imagined riding a beam of light. He closed his eyes, dreamed a dream of speed and sky, and discovered a universe of relativity. And soon you will follow him, drifting into Einstein's quiet vision. Einstein's quiet vision. A young mind imagines riding a beam of light through the sky. From this vision, a new universe of relativity is born. Time bends, stretches, and folds in ways once thought impossible. You drift with his thought as if carried on a gentle current. You close your eyes and picture a quiet room in the late 1800s. A young man, slender and thoughtful, leans against a desk, his gaze drifting beyond the window. The world outside bustles with carriages, clocks, and chatter. Yet inside his mind, the universe opens like a book. This young man is Albert Einstein, not yet a figure of legend, not yet a name carried by history, just a curious soul with a question too large for the time in which he lived. He wonders, what would it be like to ride on a beam of light? It is such a simple thought, almost childlike, yet it carries the weight of eternity. Close your eyes with him. Imagine yourself climbing onto a ray of sunlight, as if it were a glowing train stretching across the sky. You hold on as it races forward at unimaginable speed, straight and steady through the vastness of space. Now comes the riddle. If you could keep up with the light, would it seem frozen beside you, still and unmoving? Would the waves of light flatten into silence, no rhythm, no motion at all? The thought lingers like a soft flame, impossible to ignore. Einstein feels its strangeness. For if light could be both moving and still, then something in the way we think about motion and time must be incomplete. He does not begin with numbers or heavy equations. He begins with imagination. Einstein lets himself dream, lets himself play in the theater of thought experiments, and from this dream, relativity begins to take shape. Relativity whispers, the laws of nature must look the same no matter how you move. Whether you are on a train, standing still on Earth, or gliding with light, the rules do not change. But this leads to a startling truth. If light must always move at the same speed, then time and space themselves must bend to protect this constancy. Pause here. Let the thought wash over you. Time and space are not rigid structures, not a stage where life is performed. They are flexible, living, shifting, bending like reeds in the wind. They adjust themselves so that light is never caught, never overtaken, never altered. And in that bending, time itself changes its flow. Einstein imagines two observers. One stands on a platform watching, the other sits on a swiftly moving train. When a flash of light is sent from the center of the train, both must see it reach the ends at the same moment. And yet the train moves. The geometry of the situation twists into paradox. The only resolution is that time itself stretches differently for each observer. This is time dilation, born not from mathematics first, but from imagination. Einstein sees that motion slows time for those who move quickly. A clock racing near the speed of light ticks more slowly than one at rest, and in that revelation, the rigid clockwork universe dissolves into something more fluid, more alive. Think of yourself again, lying still. You are on Earth, quiet, unmoving. Now imagine a traveler rushing past you, close to the speed of light. Their seconds are longer than yours. Their heart beats more slowly in your eyes. Their entire life unfolds in a rhythm stretched thin. And yet for them, nothing feels different. To them, their heart still beats normally. Their breath still flows gently. It is only in comparison, only when two perspectives are placed side by side, that the strangeness is revealed. Einstein holds on to this vision, letting it expand. He realizes that space and time are not separate after all. Together they weave into a single fabric, space-time. Motion through one changes the other. To move quickly through space is to move slowly through time, and so the universe keeps its balance, trading one rhythm for another. This thought is quiet, but it is vast. It changes everything. It changes how we think about motion, about gravity, about the very structure of reality. The universe, once thought to be a rigid stage of absolute time and space, becomes a flexible canvas, stretching, curving, bending. You let this idea cradle you. It is soothing in its way to know that time is not harsh and absolute, but tender and malleable. It is as if the universe itself carries compassion, adjusting to keep the speed of light unbroken, to keep the harmony intact. Everywhere, every second, the cosmos bends quietly to maintain its song. Einstein's quiet vision grows stronger. In his mind, equations begin to crystallize, not as dry symbols, but as the language of this flexibility. The speed of light, constant; the flow of time, relative; the shape of space, curved. Together they form a truth that feels both strange and inevitable. Consider what this means for you. If you could one day ride a spaceship near the speed of light, your seconds would stretch. You would age more slowly than those who stayed behind. You might return to find that years had passed for them, while only months had passed for you. A bittersweet truth, both wondrous and haunting. For now, you rest only in the thought experiment. Einstein's young imagination carries you gently across a beam of light where clocks slow and space bends. It is not frightening. It is not harsh. It is a reminder that the universe is softer, stranger, and more accommodating than you once believed. The room grows quieter around you. You feel your own seconds drifting like leaves on water. The tick of a clock is no longer a command, but a suggestion. Your time, your space, your perception, all are part of this great bending fabric. And in this thought you drift deeper into calm. Einstein's vision is not finished. His imagination will wander further, to twins who age differently, to travelers and clocks on distant journeys, to paradoxes that unsettle and soothe. But for now, you stay with this one truth. Time is not absolute. It bends with motion, with perspective, with the dance of light itself. The beam carries you forward. It does not end, it does not waver. It stretches into infinity, whispering of worlds yet to be explored. And as you drift along its glow, you know the story is only beginning. The twin who waits. Two twins share the same beginning, the same pulse of childhood time. One leaves on a fast-moving ship, while the other remains behind. When they meet again, their faces tell two different stories. You wonder what it means to live inside such a paradox. You imagine two children, born side by side, sharing the same first cries, the same first breaths. They are twins, mirrors of one another, bound by the rhythm of shared beginnings. For years they live together, playing, laughing, sleeping under the same roof. Their time feels identical. Two lives unfolding in harmony, heartbeat beside heartbeat. But now picture this. One twin remains on Earth, anchored to the steady pull of gravity. The other climbs aboard a sleek spacecraft, its engines glowing with power, and sets off into the dark. As the ship accelerates, nearing the speed of light, a strange truth unfolds. Time aboard the ship begins to stretch. For the traveling twin, everything feels normal. Breaths still come with ease, meals still follow one another in the quiet rhythm of days. Inside the ship, clocks tick, conversations flow, sleep comes and goes. Nothing feels unusual, nothing seems altered. But compared to the twin left on Earth, their time is slowing. Seconds aboard the ship lengthen into gentle pauses while Earth continues to turn in its familiar pace. Imagine the earthbound twin watching years pass. The seasons rotate, winters melt into springs, faces age in the mirror. They live their life as usual, days filled with work, laughter, longing, rest. Meanwhile, high above, the traveling twin experiences less. Maybe only months pass for them while decades slip by below. This is the twin paradox, a story Einstein's relativity makes possible. Two lives once in perfect sync diverge under the influence of speed, not because of imagination alone, but because of physics itself, the bending of time by motion. Pause and feel the strangeness. What does it mean for one life to run ahead while another lingers? What does it mean for the bond of twins, two who began as one, to stretch across different tempos? It is unsettling and wondrous, like watching a melody split into two, each line carrying its own rhythm, yet still belonging to the same song. The paradox is not truly a contradiction. It is simply relativity at work. The twin in motion experiences slower time because the universe balances the constancy of light. Speed and time are braided together. To move quickly through space is to move more slowly through time. And when the traveling twin returns, the difference is revealed in their faces. Imagine the reunion. The earthbound twin stands older now, lines marking their face, hair touched with grey. The traveling twin steps off the ship, younger, their body carrying fewer years. They meet in silence first, eyes widening at the impossible truth. One has lived a longer life, the other a shorter one. Both, however, are correct. Both have lived exactly as they experienced, and this is relativity's quiet power. Reality can differ, and yet both realities are true. Breathe slowly here. Consider how this paradox is not only a curiosity of science, but a reflection of life itself. Haven't you felt time pass differently from those around you? Haven't you noticed how your days can stretch endlessly, while for another they vanish in a blink? We are not traveling near light speed, but already relativity lives in our perception. Our time is never quite the same as someone else's. Now, bring your focus back to the science. Physicists have tested this idea. They place atomic clocks so precise they barely lose a second in millions of years on airplanes and satellites. When compared with clocks on Earth, the difference appears. Tiny, yes, but real. The moving clocks tick more slowly. The twin paradox is not only theory, it is measured, observed, undeniable. Think again of the bond between the twins. It is not broken by time's divergence. If anything, it reveals something deeper, that love, memory, and connection flow through relativity too. Even if their faces tell different ages, their story is still one, two rhythms held in harmony by something beyond physics. Let yourself drift with this thought. What would you choose if given the chance? Would you be the twin who stays growing older in the familiar embrace of Earth? Or would you be the one who leaves preserving youth among the stars, returning to find a world that has aged without you? Both choices are bittersweet. Both carry wonder and loss. This story is not only about science, it is also about perspective, about the way time shapes human experience. When we say, "Where did the years go?" or "That day lasted forever," we echo the same truth that Einstein revealed. Time is not universal. It bends with speed, with place, with feeling. It bends with the journey you take. As you rest, imagine yourself in both roles. You are the twin who waits, watching days slip like grains of sand through an hourglass. And you are the twin who travels, feeling time stretch like silk, slow and smooth. Both lives belong to you. Both truths are yours. In the silence of night, this paradox becomes less frightening, more soothing. It tells you that time is gentle, that it is not harshly fixed. It tells you that even across great distances, even through bending rhythms, connections remain. Love, memory, and meaning move more freely than clocks ever can. Now let your thoughts drift toward the horizon. The twin paradox leads to deeper mysteries. If motion alone can bend time so profoundly, what about places where gravity itself becomes almost infinite? What about black holes, where time slows nearly to stillness at the edge? If speed can divide the lives of twins, what happens when gravity pulls on time with even greater force? The story does not end here. The paradox is only a doorway, opening into realms where time stretches, halts, or disappears altogether. And as you breathe softly, listening to your own heart, you sense the next chapter waiting. Ahead, the universe leans darker, heavier, and time itself prepares to be stretched thinner than you can imagine. Clocks in the sky, airplanes and satellites carry clocks that tick against Earth's rhythm. Experiments reveal tiny differences, proof that Einstein was right. Time itself is flexible, shifting like sunlight through a moving cloud. You follow these clocks floating high above the Earth. Look up into the night sky. Satellites drift quietly above you, their paths invisible yet certain. They circle the Earth like lanterns in the dark, carrying with them not only signals, but also secrets of time itself. Inside each of these machines rests a clock, small, precise, unyielding. But the tick of those clocks does not match the ones here on Earth. Pause and breathe. The thought feels subtle, almost impossible, and yet it is true. Time, the steady rhythm you have trusted since childhood, does not beat the same above the clouds. The higher you go, the weaker Earth's gravity pulls, and the faster seconds pass. And if you move swiftly, like an airplane slicing through the sky, speed itself stretches your seconds, slowing them down. Two effects opposite in their tug meet in the sky, bending time in different directions. Scientists wanted to know if Einstein was right. Could such tiny shifts in time really exist? So they carried atomic clocks, the most precise ever built, onto airplanes. Atomic clocks do not tick like pendulums or gears. They count the oscillations of atoms, so steady they barely lose a second in millions of years. With these clocks, every whisper of time becomes measurable. The planes lifted from runways carrying their cargo of delicate timekeepers. One flew eastward in the same direction as Earth's rotation. The other flew westward against the planet's turning. Back on the ground, identical clocks waited, resting steady. And when the experiment ended, the truth was revealed. The clocks disagreed. The eastward plane's clock had lost time, ticking more slowly than the earthbound clock. The westward plane's clock had gained time, ticking slightly faster. The difference was small, only billionths of a second, but real, exactly what Einstein had predicted. Breathe with that thought. Billionths of a second may feel too tiny to matter, yet they carry the weight of cosmic truth. Because if time can bend even by such slivers, it means the universe itself is not built on absolute rhythm. It means reality is softer, more flexible than the tick of a clock suggests, and those clocks above you in orbit, the ones in satellites, feel this bending every day. High above Earth, gravity is weaker, so their clocks tick faster. Yet because they are moving quickly, racing around the planet, time also slows for them. Two effects working together, tugging in opposite ways. If not corrected, GPS signals would drift, and your phone could not guide you accurately through the world. Your journey would be lost by miles in only a day. Think about this. Each time you check a map, each time your phone tells you where you stand, it is Einstein's relativity keeping you steady. The satellites above adjust their time, correcting for both gravity and speed, so that their rhythm matches the one on Earth. Without this, your directions would scatter. Without relativity, the map in your pocket would fail. So the theory of a young dreamer imagining beams of light becomes a daily companion. Einstein's vision lives in your hand, guiding you through streets, highways, oceans. It is not a distant truth, not an abstract curiosity. It is here, practical and constant, woven into your daily life. Close your eyes and picture those satellites. Dozens of them circle silently, their paths invisible threads in the night. Each one carries not just technology, but also a message that time is not universal, that your seconds are tied to your place, your speed, your perspective. The sky itself holds this secret, whispering down to you with every signal. Think of the airplane again. Inside, passengers sit unaware, reading books, watching movies, drifting into sleep. They do not feel time's shift. They do not notice the billionths of a second slipping differently than on the ground. And yet, physics insists their journey is also a journey through time's flexibility. Every flight is a small experiment, every path across the sky a quiet confirmation that relativity is real. You may wonder why these changes are not felt more strongly. Why don't passengers return years younger, as in the twin paradox? Because speed, though swift, is still far from the speed of light. The effects are small, measurable only with precise clocks, but they are there, woven into each mile of the journey. Pause and let this settle. Your life is filled with unseen truths. The airplane in the sky, the satellite above, the device in your hand, all depend on time's malleability. You are living inside relativity already, even if you rarely notice. Now imagine looking at Earth from above, from the vantage point of those satellites. The planet turns slowly, wrapped in its thin layer of air, oceans shifting, continents gleaming. Clocks below tick in their own rhythm, shaped by gravity's steady hand. Clocks above tick in another, shaped by weaker pull and swift motion. From space, the Earth looks like a mosaic of time, each place carrying its own tempo. And here you are, lying still, breathing softly. Your own body another clock. Your pulse slows as you rest, your seconds stretching in the quiet of night. You belong to this pattern, part of the same symphony of shifting rhythms. The thought is gentle, almost comforting. There is no single time ruling over all. There are only local times, personal tempos, unique to each place and each path. Time is plural, diverse, alive. As you drift deeper into this idea, you begin to sense the vastness ahead. If airplanes and satellites reveal time's flexibility, what of more extreme places? What of black holes, where gravity grows so strong it nearly halts time altogether? What of the cosmic dance, where light itself bends and struggles against the pull of mass? These questions linger at the edges of your thoughts, waiting to be explored. The sky has already shown you the truth, with its clocks and satellites, but the universe holds darker mysteries, where seconds stretch into eternity. For now, you rest with this knowledge, that every time you look at a map, every time a plane glides above, you are touching Einstein's dream. You are living in a world where clocks disagree, and yet harmony remains. It is a world where the sky itself proves that time is not rigid, but soft. Breathe gently. The night deepens. The satellites continue their silent orbits, and time, always flexible, continues to drift around you. Soon you will follow it further, into mountains and oceans, where even the earth's contours sculpt the rhythm of your days. The mountain and the sea stand at the summit, and time quickens its quiet song. Descend to the sea and seconds grow heavy, slow. Mountains and oceans teach you that even altitude shapes time. You begin to feel how every place carries its own rhythm. Imagine yourself standing at the base of a mountain. The air is thicker here, the pull of Earth's gravity strong and steady. Every step you take upward feels like work, each breath drawing deeper as the ground tilts beneath your feet. Yet with every meter you climb, you are not only changing your view of the land, you are changing your relationship with time itself. Breathe slowly. Inhale, exhale. Notice how your lungs stretch against the thinner air, how your body adjusts to each step upward. What you may not feel but science assures you is true, is that your seconds are flowing just a little faster than before. On the mountain, time runs more swiftly than at sea level, not because you perceive it differently, but because gravity itself has loosened its grip. This is the gift of altitude. The higher you climb, the weaker Earth's pull becomes, and with weaker pull, the bending of space-time relaxes. Seconds, which once leaned heavily in the valley, now rise like birds, moving more lightly at the summit. The difference is small, a fraction of a second. But it is real. Your clock on the mountain ticks ever so slightly ahead of its twin down below. Now turn your thoughts to the sea. Imagine diving deep beneath the surface, where pressure grows and gravity presses closer. Here, time slows, seconds stretch into heavier beats, as though they sink with you into the dark water. At the bottom of the ocean, a clock ticks just a little slower than one in the open air. Again, the difference is tiny, but it exists, etched into the very fabric of reality. Mountains and seas, peaks and depths show you that even Earth sculpts time. Your altitude, your place above or below the ground, becomes part of your rhythm. Two people living at different heights experience time differently, though they never feel it. One grows old just a whisper faster, the other just a whisper slower. And so the planet becomes not only a home, but also a designer of time's flow. Pause here, and let that thought rest with you. You do not live in universal time. You live in local time, Earth-shaped time. Your seconds are not identical to those of someone standing at another altitude. The world itself is filled with countless tiny variations, each place singing its own tempo. Scientists have tested this with extraordinary precision. They place atomic clocks in observatories high on mountaintops and compare them with clocks at sea level. And always the results return. The mountain clock runs faster. The difference is measurable, undeniable. Einstein's prediction plays out not only in thought experiments, but in the quiet ticking of machines on Earth's highest peaks. Think of this as a reminder of how delicate and flexible time truly is. We are used to thinking of it as rigid, the same everywhere, the same for everyone. But nature insists otherwise. Seconds bend under altitude, just as they bend under speed, just as they bend under gravity. The Earth is not just shaping your weight, your air, your weather, it is shaping your time. Now, imagine two friends. One lives in a valley surrounded by mountains. The other builds a home on a high plateau. They write to each other for years, they share memories, they grow older side by side, but in truth, their clocks disagree. The friend on the mountain is aging ever so slightly faster, the friend in the valley slower. It is imperceptible to them, a difference too small to sense, yet present all the same. This is the paradox of relativity made intimate. Even without spaceships or black holes, even without cosmic extremes, the bending of time exists in your everyday world. Mountains and seas, valleys and peaks are enough to show you that time is never uniform. Breathe slowly again. Picture yourself on the summit now, the horizon stretching far, the sky vast and open. You are not only seeing farther, you are living seconds that flow more lightly. Then sink in your imagination into the ocean's depths, where the water presses heavy and the seconds slow, as though reluctant to move forward. Two worlds, two tempos, both true, both real. This truth can be unsettling, but it can also be calming. If time is flexible, if it shifts gently with altitude, then perhaps your own experience of it, fast or slow, heavy or light, is natural too. Perhaps it is all right that some nights feel endless, and some mornings vanish before you grasp them. Time bends outside you. Why should it not bend inside you too? The mountains and seas remind you that there is no single way to live a second. Every place, every body, every heart carries its own rhythm. And you are not out of step with the universe. You are part of its soft and shifting dance. Now let your thoughts drift outward. If altitude alone can change time, then what of the great heights of space? What of the deepest wells of gravity in the cosmos? If a mountaintop quickens your seconds, what happens near the edge of a black hole? If the sea slows you, what happens in the densest places of the universe where time nearly halts altogether? The Earth is only the beginning of this story. Its mountains and oceans are gentle lessons showing you the pliability of time. But beyond Earth, the bending grows more profound, more haunting. The next steps will take you into darker places where relativity stretches seconds into eternity. For now you rest with this gentler truth, that every step upward or downward changes your tempo, that your life is tuned not only to your body, but to your place on Earth, and that the world you walk on is quietly shaping the rhythm of your days. The mountain and the sea sing together, their voices different but harmonious, and you, caught between, belong to both songs at once. Black holes and stretched seconds. Near the edge of a black hole, light bends and slows. Time itself is pulled, stretched into an almost endless pause. What feels like an instant outside becomes eternity within. You lean closer to the mystery, listening to silence grow longer. Close your eyes and imagine the deepest night you can. Not the kind of darkness that comes with sunset, not the shade of forests or caves, but a darkness more absolute, more consuming. A black hole is not simply a shadow. It is the absence of return. It is where gravity grows so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape. You begin outside, far away from its center. Here the stars still shine, and time flows with familiar rhythm. But as you drift closer, pulled gently at first, then more strongly, you begin to notice a change. The light around you bends, curving, as though space itself is a lens, and time, the seconds you once trusted to march forward steadily, begins to stretch. Picture a clock carried by a traveler who dares to descend near the black hole. From your safe distance you watch the clock. Its hand ticks slower and slower, as though hesitating, reluctant to move. At first it is subtle, a small delay, but soon the difference grows profound. For you, minutes are passing. For them, seconds barely slip away. This is time dilation at its most extreme, gravity pulling not only on matter, not only on light, but on time itself. Closer to the black hole, seconds expand like stretched fabric, nearly infinite. To the traveler, nothing feels different. Their heartbeat, their thoughts, their breath, all flow as they always have. But to you, watching from afar, they seem almost frozen, their movements slowed to a crawl. Breathe gently as you rest with this paradox. Two truths exist at once. The traveler feels normal, alive in steady rhythm. The observer sees a life nearly stopped, seconds elongated beyond recognition. Both realities are true, and the black hole, silent and patient, holds them both. Now imagine yourself as the traveler. You draw nearer to the event horizon, the invisible boundary beyond which no return is possible. Cross it and even light cannot escape. Time for you feels unchanged, but to anyone watching from outside, you have become a figure trapped in slow motion, hovering at the edge forever. They will never see you cross. To them, you will linger at the border, stretched into timelessness. This is the strange mercy of relativity. It shows us that the universe has no single story of time. There is no master clock. There are only perspectives, each one shaped by its place, its motion, its gravity. Let your mind drift further into the thought. What would it feel like to linger near such an edge? Would silence grow heavier? Would each breath feel like a lifetime? Or would you simply not notice, living seconds as usual, unaware of how the universe watches you slow? This is the gentle haunting of black holes. They hold within them not only matter, but also contradictions of time. Scientists call the edge the event horizon. It is not a physical surface, not a wall you can touch, but a boundary of possibility. Once crossed, the direction of every path bends inward. Space itself tilts toward the center. Time itself bends toward collapse. Outside, an observer sees endless delay. Inside, the traveler continues, falling deeper, carried toward a center where known physics breaks apart. This is the singularity, the hidden heart of the black hole, where density becomes infinite and our understanding falters. It is not yet known what time means there, or if the word time even applies. Pause and breathe with this mystery. It is not meant to be solved tonight. It is meant to be felt. The universe is reminding you that reality is stranger than any story, softer than any rule, more flexible than any clock. Now consider light itself. Light that passes near the black hole does not move in straight lines. It bends, arcs, circles, caught in orbits of brightness around darkness. Some of it escapes, bent but free. Some of it spirals inward, never to return. From Earth we can sometimes see these glowing rings, the shadow of the black hole outlined by trapped light. It is a portrait of time and space bending together. Imagine watching the traveler again. They carry a signal, a beam of light sent outward. As they near the black hole, their signal slows, its frequency stretched. What was once a bright tone becomes lower, deeper, until it fades into silence. The black hole does not just hold matter, it holds stories, conversations, signals, all stretched and dimmed into disappearance. This stretching has a name: gravitational redshift. It is the lengthening of light's wave as it struggles to climb out of strong gravity. It is as if the black hole whispers, "Stay, time is different here," and the light, obedient, cannot quite escape the pull. Let yourself drift with the thought of being both inside and outside at once. Inside, you breathe normally, walk normally, unaware of how you appear. Outside, you are frozen, stretched seconds piled endlessly at the horizon. This duality is not a contradiction. It is relativity, offering two truths from two perspectives, neither wrong. And now think of this. If time can nearly halt at the edge of a black hole, then what does it mean for the universe itself? If some places hold seconds still, while others let them flow, then time is not a single river, but a landscape of streams, some swift, some slow, some frozen. The cosmos is a geography of time, sculpted by gravity. And you are part of it, your own seconds shaped by Earth's gentle pull. Breathe slowly again. The black hole is no longer frightening. It is a teacher showing you that time is pliable, that it can stretch into near eternity. It is not an enemy, not a monster. It is a reminder that even the darkest places are woven from the same fabric of space-time that holds you now. Think of the universe as a great loom, weaving threads of time and space together. A black hole is where the threads tighten into knots, where the fabric folds in on itself. From far away you see the knot as stillness. From within you feel the threads continue, pulling you onward. The fabric does not tear. It bends into patterns too complex to follow. Scientists still wonder what lies beyond the horizon. Some imagine time ending, collapsing into singular silence. Others dream of time continuing in new forms, perhaps connected to other regions of space. But here, in the quiet of your rest, you do not need the answers. You need only the softness of knowing that time is not what you once thought. Let yourself drift as if you too are orbiting the edge of a black hole. Feel the seconds stretch around you, each breath longer than the last. The stillness is not heavy, it is calming. The universe in its vast complexity is still a place where you belong, still a fabric that cradles you. Soon your journey will return closer to Earth, to the familiar. You will hold a device in your pocket and discover that even there, relativity is at work. You will see how satellites and black holes, mountains and oceans all belong to the same truth. Time is not a ruler, not a metronome. It is a fabric, woven, stretched, shaped by the cosmos itself. For now let the silence deepen, the stars glimmer faintly above, the black hole rests in darkness below, and time itself grows long, patient, endless. You rest with it, your own breath the only clock you need. Time in your pocket. A tiny GPS device rests in your hand, guiding you through the world. Inside, satellites and relativity whisper to correct each signal. Without time dilation, every journey would drift off course. You realize the science of the cosmos lives quietly in your palm. You slip a small device into your pocket, hardly giving it thought. A phone, a GPS receiver, a tool so ordinary it feels invisible. Yet inside this modest object rests one of the greatest triumphs of science. It carries not just signals and numbers, but the hidden heartbeat of the universe itself. Pause here and feel its weight in your hand. It is light, almost delicate, but its knowledge stretches across the sky. High above, dozens of satellites drift in orbit, each carrying a clock of exquisite precision. These satellites send their signals to you, whispering the secret of where you stand on the turning Earth. But to work, these signals must measure not only space, but also time. Your position is calculated by the time it takes for each signal to travel. The phone in your hand listens to multiple satellites at once, measuring tiny differences. One signal arrives a fraction of a moment sooner, another a fraction later. By comparing these whispers, your device knows whether you are on a street corner, in a forest, or standing at the edge of the sea. But none of this would work without accounting for relativity. The clocks on those satellites do not tick at the same rate as clocks on Earth. Gravity is weaker up there, high above the planet's surface. Seconds flow faster. At the same time, the satellites race swiftly around Earth, and their speed slows their clocks in return. Two opposing effects, both predicted by Einstein, both shaping the signals that reach you. Without correction, your GPS would fail within minutes, placing you miles away from your true position. Breathe softly and let that sink in. Every time you glance at your phone's map, you are leaning on Einstein's vision. Every journey you make, every step guided by satellites, depends on relativity. It is not a distant, abstract theory. It is alive in your pocket, alive in your daily walk, alive in every direction you take. Think of the precision involved. Light travels nearly 300,000 kilometers each second. If the clocks on satellites were even a millionth of a second off, your location would drift by hundreds of meters. If left uncorrected, errors would build until your GPS became useless. But instead, the system accounts for relativity, adjusting each signal so that the seconds above match the seconds below. This is science made intimate. You carry in your palm a quiet collaboration between earth and sky, between satellites racing high above and the ground where you stand, between gravity's pull and motion's speed, all balanced to guide you safely. Now, imagine those satellites circling the planet, each one a silent clock beaming its steady rhythm down to Earth. They move too quickly for your eyes to see, yet their signals touch you with invisible certainty. You belong to their network, a web of relativity stretched across the sky. Pause again. Think of how easy it is to forget this. You open your phone and see a dot on a map. You trust it without wonder. But behind that dot lies the bending of time itself, the stretching of seconds, the proof of relativity living in your pocket. This is the poetry of the everyday. Einstein's quiet thought experiment, born from a dream of light, is now guiding cars, hikers, ships, and planes. The same truth that bends clocks near black holes also helps you find your way to a cafe. The same relativity that shapes galaxies also keeps you from being lost in your own city. Let this thought cradle you. Science is not distant. It is not locked away in laboratories or far-off stars. It is here, folded into your daily life, hidden in plain sight. The cosmos is not only above you, it is in your pocket. Now imagine turning off all corrections, letting the GPS run without relativity's guidance. At first it would feel normal. But within a single day, your device would drift by kilometers. You would follow false paths, walk toward places that did not exist, arrive at destinations far from your goal. Relativity is not optional. It is the hidden compass that makes modern life possible. And so, each time you use GPS, you are living a quiet paradox. Your journey depends on satellites that live in a different tempo than you. Their seconds are stretched, their clocks bent by speed and altitude. Yet when their voices meet, corrected and balanced, they give you a truth that feels solid beneath your feet. Breathe slowly as you picture this web above the earth. It is a constellation not of stars, but of machines, each singing its own song of time. Together they harmonize to guide you. Together they whisper Einstein's discovery into your daily life. Think again of the twin paradox, one twin on Earth, one in motion. In a way, you are already both. The satellites are the traveling twin, their time stretched and altered. You are the twin who waits, grounded in Earth's embrace. And yet, you remain connected, through signals, through adjustments, through shared understanding. This connection is a reminder of how deeply you belong to the universe. You are not apart from its mysteries. You live inside them. You carry them with you. The bending of time is not something to fear. It is something to trust, something that holds you, something that guides your way. Now let your mind drift outward again. If relativity shapes the pocket in your hand, what of the clocks within you? What of your heartbeat, your breath, your rhythms that flow regardless of satellites? What does it mean to carry both cosmic and human time, both at once? The answer waits in the next step of the journey. The science of relativity is not only written in machines, but also in your body, in your microbiome, in your cells. Your inner timekeepers move with their own softness, their own rhythms, their own truth. For now, hold on to this gentle realization. The universe, vast and incomprehensible, has bent down to live in your pocket. The bending of time, the flexibility of reality, rests quietly in your hand, and every step you take with it is guided by the stars. The human clock within your body holds its own clocks, circadian rhythms, cells, and memory. Sometimes they align with the outside world, sometimes they wander. Even inside you, time is never absolute, always shifting. You notice how your mind tells its own story of hours. You place a hand gently over your chest. Beneath your palm, your heart keeps steady rhythm, beat after beat, whisper after whisper. It does not ask the time from the sky or the stars. It carries its own clock, born of muscle and impulse, ancient and enduring. This is your first reminder. The universe of time exists not only above you, in satellites and black holes, but also within you. Your body is full of clocks. Each cell, each organ, each system ticks in its own rhythm. Together they form a chorus, guiding sleep, hunger, memory, and mood. And though you may not hear them, they shape every moment of your life. Pause and breathe. Inhale slowly, exhale gently. This too is a clock, a pendulum swinging inside you, steady and vital. It marks not seconds but sensations, not hours, but calm. At the center of these inner clocks lies your circadian rhythm. It is a cycle close to 24 hours woven into your biology. Light in the morning tells your body to awaken. Darkness at night whispers that it is time to rest. Hormones rise and fall in this pattern. Body temperature shifts, alertness waxes and wanes. Even if you were locked away from sun and sky, this rhythm would persist, its cycle written deep in your genes. But circadian rhythm is not the only clock within you. Your liver follows its own timing, turning genes on and off to manage energy. Your gut, home to trillions of microbes, follows feeding cycles, influencing mood and digestion. Your brain cells, too, fire in patterns that shape thought and memory. You are not a single clock, but a constellation of many, woven together in harmony. And yet harmony is not always perfect. Sometimes your inner clocks drift. You may feel wide awake at midnight when the world expects you to sleep, or heavy with fatigue at noon when the day demands alertness. Jet lag, night shifts, insomnia, these are signs of inner clocks misaligned with the outer world. Time, even inside you, is never absolute. Think back to nights when you lay awake staring into darkness. Each minute seemed long, stretched beyond measure. And then recall mornings when you woke to find hours had vanished in dreams. Your body's time does not always match the wall clock. Your perception, your rhythm, your biology tell their own story. Scientists have studied how these clocks arise. They find that within nearly every cell lies a set of genes that switch on and off in repeating cycles. Proteins build up and then fade, marking the passage of hours. These molecular rhythms are the gears of your inner clocks, precise yet adaptable. They link together to guide when you feel hunger, when your immune system is strongest, when your mind is sharpest. Pause here. Think of yourself as a galaxy of tiny clocks, each one a star pulsing with its own rhythm. Together they form a universe within you, a universe of time. But your body's clocks do not only tell you when to wake or rest, they also shape your sense of time's passing. Your brain measures durations through pulses of neurons, estimating seconds and minutes. Memory weaves those moments into stories, sometimes stretching them, sometimes compressing them. That is why time feels long when you are bored, short when you are joyful, endless when you wait, and fleeting when you love. Your perception is its own dilation, a mirror of the relativity that shapes the cosmos. Think of music. A melody unfolds note by note, rhythm by rhythm. You follow it not with a clock, but with your sense of flow. Your body sways to the tempo, your heart aligns to the beat. This too is a way of telling time, softer than seconds, deeper than hours. In this you discover a profound truth. The human experience of time is flexible, tender, alive. It does not march like a soldier. It drifts like a tide, sometimes gentle, sometimes swift. You carry within you a personal relativity, echoing the cosmic one. Now imagine your younger self, a child playing in the sun. The days felt endless then, each summer stretching wide, each hour generous. Now think of yourself older, years passing more quickly, weeks folding into one another. This is not only memory. Your brain measures time differently as you age, compressing, shifting, blending. Even your lifespan is lived in varied tempos, childhood in long days, adulthood in swift seasons. Breathe softly with this thought. Even if clocks on the wall never change, your inner clocks tell you otherwise. Your seconds are not the same as the seconds of others, nor even the same as your own from long ago. You are living in layered rhythms, some cellular, some emotional, some cosmic. Scientists once placed volunteers in caves away from sunlight and clocks. Left only with their inner rhythms, the volunteers still followed cycles, waking, sleeping, eating. But their cycles drifted, sometimes longer than 24 hours. This showed that your body holds its own time, but also needs the world to guide it. Sunlight, meals, conversations, these are cues that tune your clocks, keeping you aligned. Without them, your rhythms wander. You become like a traveler without a map, time stretching and contracting in unpredictable ways. This too is relativity, the relativity of the self, the relativity of perception. Now rest with the realization that your body is not ruled by one clock but by many. Your heart, your breath, your brain, your cells, each carries a beat, each sings its own song. Together they form a harmony, sometimes aligned, sometimes discordant, but always alive. You are not separate from the cosmos bending of time. You reflect it, embody it, live it. Just as black holes stretch seconds and satellites correct them, your body bends time through perception and rhythm. You are part of the same fabric, inner and outer threads woven together. Breathe once more. Your breath rises, your breath falls. The pendulum of your body swings gently. Your inner clocks tick softly, guiding you into rest. And now let your thoughts drift ahead. If your body carries its own clocks, and the earth shapes them, and the cosmos bends them, then what is time itself? Is it rigid, or is it always flexible? Is it one story, or many layered stories woven together? The question waits like a whisper at the edge of sleep. And soon you will rest with the idea of time not as a machine, but as a fabric, pliant and living. The gentle flexibility of time. As the journey closes, you return to your own clock. You see that time is not a rigid ruler, but a living fabric. It bends with motion, gravity, and even with perception. You rest with this thought: time itself is soft, and so are you. You lie still, the weight of the night soft against your body. Your breath has slowed into rhythm, your heart a quiet metronome in your chest. The room is silent, yet you feel filled with echoes, echoes of mountains and seas, of satellites and stars, of clocks that tick differently in valleys and in skies. Each chapter of this journey has brought you closer to a truth both vast and intimate, that time is not a rigid ruler, but a flexible companion. Pause now. Let your breath expand, then drift away. Inhale, exhale. You are here in your own moment, but you are also everywhere you have been, standing on mountains, falling toward black holes, floating with satellites, watching twins diverge and return. Time has carried you through all of it, not as a straight line, but as a pliant fabric, bending to embrace each place and each perspective. Think first of your body, the smallest clock you know. Your heart beats faster when you run, slower when you rest. Your mind stretches seconds in moments of fear, compresses hours in moments of joy. Already you see that time is flexible, living differently in you than in anyone else. Your inner rhythms are a mirror of relativity, an echo of the universe's bending. Now recall the earth, the mountain where seconds flow lightly, the valley where they grow heavier, the sea that holds time like a weight, the peak that lets it run free. Even the planet you walk on sculpts your hours, reshaping them with gravity's quiet hand. It is humbling to know that where you stand, above, below, near, far, changes the rhythm of your very life. Lift your gaze higher. Satellites circle, their clocks ticking faster in the weaker pull of the sky, slower in their rushing speed. Airplanes fly, carrying passengers who return with seconds just slightly altered. The sky proves Einstein correct every day, whispering relativity through signals that guide you home. Even your pocket, with its small glowing screen, depends on time's flexibility, correcting, adjusting, harmonizing. What was once a theory now lives in your hand. And then farther still, the paradox of the twins, one who waits, one who travels, both returning to find their time divided. It is more than a story. It is a reminder that perspective shapes reality, that your experience, your rhythm, your truth may differ from another's, and both can still be real. Finally, think of the black holes, edges where time stretches into silence, where seconds elongate into eternity. A place where to you, watching from afar, a traveler seems frozen forever at the horizon, while to them life continues without pause. This is the universe at its most mysterious, its most haunting. And yet, even here, time bends not with violence, but with inevitability, with grace. The fabric does not shatter, it folds patiently, quietly, into forms you cannot fully see. Pause again, let these images drift through you, your own heart. The mountain, the satellites, the twins, the black holes. Together they form not separate stories, but a single truth. Time is not absolute. It is soft, pliant, alive. It bends with motion. It bends with gravity. It bends with perception. This truth does not frighten you, it comforts you. Because if time is flexible, then there is no single way to live, no single rhythm you must obey. Your pace is your own, your seconds are yours, and they are enough. Think now of a river. To some it rushes fast, white water tumbling over rocks. To others it drifts slowly, reflecting the sky, carrying leaves gently. Yet both are the same river. Both belong to the same source. Time is like this river. Your experience may be fast or slow, stretched or fleeting, but it all belongs to the same flow. The flexibility of time is an invitation to rest. It tells you that you do not need to hold so tightly to the seconds. They are not slipping away from you. They are simply flowing in their own rhythm. Sometimes long, sometimes short, always alive. Breathe gently as you imagine yourself lying on this river of time. You do not need to paddle, you do not need to steer. The current carries you. You can simply float, watching the ripples, feeling the coolness, listening to the steady hush. This is how time moves, not rigid, not demanding, but like water cradling you. Even the universe itself trusts this flow. Galaxies expand, stars are born and die, black holes stretch seconds into silence, yet all of it is woven into the same fabric, the same current. Your life is not separate from it. Your heartbeat is part of it, your breath is part of it, your rest tonight is part of it. Reflect on this. The same science that explains satellites and black holes also explains the way you feel time in your body. The same relativity that shapes the cosmos shapes your perception of a sleepless night or a fleeting day. There is no separation. You are living inside the same truth as the stars. And so, as this journey closes, you return to your own clock. Not the one on the wall, not the one in the sky, but the one in your body. Your chest rises, your chest falls, the pendulum of breath continues. This is the only time you need tonight. The gentle flexibility of time means you can let go. You do not need to chase seconds. You do not need to resist them. They are not harsh. They are not rulers. They are companions, flowing with you, bending around you. In this softness you find peace. You realize that time is not something to fear losing. It is something you are always within, something that holds you gently, something that moves with you rather than against you. And in this realization, your body loosens, your mind quiets, your eyes grow heavy. Breathe once more. Inhale, exhale. You are resting inside the flexibility of time. It stretches for you, it bends for you, it carries you as it carries the stars, the earth, and all who live. Let the journey drift now into silence. You have traveled from your breath to the mountains, from the sky to the black holes, from Einstein's thought experiments to the clock in your pocket, and everywhere the same truth awaited. Time is not rigid, time is soft. And so are you. Rest now in that softness. Let the seconds lengthen, let the minutes dissolve. There is no hurry. You are already where you need to be. The night closes around you like a gentle blanket. Time, pliant and forgiving, flows quietly beneath your dreams. When time lets you rest, the journey through clocks, mountains, satellites, and stars is complete. You return not to answers, but to peace in the questions themselves. Time is no longer rigid, but a soft current carrying you. In its embrace you find rest. The night is deep, the room still. You have walked with time through valleys and peaks, through satellites above and black holes beyond. You have listened to Einstein's visions, the whispers of twins divided, the ticking of atomic clocks in the sky, and now, as your body rests, you realize the journey has always been leading you back here. To the quiet within your own breath. Breathe softly. Inhale, exhale. You are not measuring seconds. You are not following minutes. You are simply being floating in a current that needs no numbers. This is the heart of time, not a ruler, not a command, but a river carrying you gently forward. Think of how many clocks you have encountered, the pendulum of your breath, the tick of your heart. The clocks on mountains and in valleys, the satellites circling high above, the slowed seconds near a black hole. Each one kept its own rhythm, its own story. And yet, all were part of the same fabric. You too are part of this fabric. Your seconds may feel stretched tonight, your minutes may feel long. But that is not wrong. That is not broken. It is simply time, showing you its flexibility, offering you space to rest. Pause and imagine yourself standing again on a mountaintop. The horizon stretches wide, the air is thin, and time flows lightly around you. Now imagine sinking into the sea, where the weight of water slows your seconds. Two truths, both real, both part of the same earth. Time is not one story, it is many. Now return to the sky. Satellites circle, their clocks corrected to keep your maps true. They whisper their signals down to you, tiny beams of light measuring distance and time. Even in their speed, even in their orbit, relativity bends them. And yet, here in your hand, your phone gives you certainty. A dot on a map, a position in the world, proof that relativity is not distant but close. And then, farther still, the black hole, the place where time nearly halts, where seconds stretch to eternity. It is a haunting, yes, but also a reminder. If time can stretch there, if time can bend so softly even at the edge of forever, then why would you not trust it here? Time is not cruel, it is not a thief, it is a fabric, pliant and forgiving. Breathe again, let the thought settle deep. You do not live outside of relativity, you are part of it. Your heart, your breath, your perception are all bending time in their own ways. And that is enough. You are already aligned with the universe. Einstein once said that time is what clocks measure. But you have seen tonight that clocks are many, and no two measure the same. So what is time, truly? Perhaps it is not a thing to be measured, but a feeling to be lived. Perhaps it is not rigid truth, but gentle story. And you, here in this bed, are living your story of time in this very moment. Let go of needing to measure. Let go of needing to control. Time is not your enemy. It is your companion, your blanket, your river. It moves with you, bends for you, waits with you. And in this realization, you feel the tightness in your chest release, the tension in your body soften. Tonight, you do not need to conquer time. You do not need to fear its passing. You need only to rest in its embrace. Like a current, it will carry you whether you fight or float. And so, you choose to float. The journey is complete, but not closed. For tomorrow time will whisper again. In the rise of the sun, in the ticking of clocks, in the rhythms of your body. You will notice how it bends, how it stretches, how it softens, and when you forget, you will remember again. That time is flexible, and so are you. The stars above keep their own rhythm, the earth beneath holds its tempo, and you between them belong to both. You are part of the cosmic dance, not separate, never out of step. Time is not something you keep, it is something that keeps you. Now close your eyes more fully. Feel the weight of the blanket, the steadiness of your breath. The seconds are slowing, the minutes are dissolving. There is no rush, no demand. You are already where you need to be. Let time hold you tonight. Let it stretch, let it soften, let it guide you into rest. And when dreams arrive, know that they too are part of time's flexibility, weaving stories that bend and fold the hours until morning. Rest now. The clocks of the world continue, satellites orbit, black holes linger, galaxies expand. But here, in this small, tender space, time has only one purpose: to cradle you into peace.